Welcome. Thank you for being here. Sorry for the technical delays, but hopefully we can have a good discussion. I thought maybe we could start for whoever's watching here live, and also, anyone who watches the video. Maybe we could start because probably not everybody knows exactly what is the Canadian men's national para soccer team, and what in what competitions do you compete, and what are the kind of the, I guess we could say, criteria in terms of players getting into the team.
Okay, I'll let Sammy try to have a go at that, and then we'll
Oh,
step in if we missed anything. How's that?
uh, so the competitions right now that we take a part in, we have our own 4-year cycles because we're not participating in the Paralympics at the moment. We're not. The sport has been kicked out since 2016. But we have our own world championships, our own World Cup per se, and a few tournaments here and there. And then we obviously have the Pan Ams that are coming up in a week. And criterias, that's probably more of a question for Drew. But as for tournaments go, it's pretty much we have a tournament every year, basically. And that helps us to qualify for the World Cup is the big one for us. And the Pan Ams is a step into qualifying for things as well, and we have tournaments to qualify for the Pan Ams as well.
Yeah, so I'll just jump in there if I can. So yeah, so Sammy's correct. Um, one of the greatest things about the para program, compared to say potentially our men's or boys under 17 national team or the youth programs, is no matter what, we have an international event every year. And as Sam says, they all are qualifiers to get to the World Cup. So again, there's a World Cup, there's World Championships, there's the Para Pan Ams, and then there's also what we call the regionals, which is our region is exactly the same as Para Pan Ams. It's not CONCACAF, but it's the Americas. So we are competing against Brazil's, Argentina's, Venezuela's, Colombia's, and all them. So it's a very tough region, but so no matter what, every single year we get an international event, which is brilliant for the players. Great experience. We get more experience than probably a lot of other programs when the kids are young. So yeah, it's very exciting.
Great, yeah. So I guess the next question becomes, I know, Sam, you mentioned that the sport is not part of the Olympic Games, and that happened recently. Did you guys were you still involved with the team prior to that? And can you comment on maybe why was that decision made, or what was what were the
Um,
circumstances?
I'm not sure why. I don't have the specifics. Maybe Drew can touch on that after, but um, yeah, I've been in the program now for 12 years. So 2012 was my first tournament. And yeah, the cycle, like the Paralympic Games in 2016, that was the last time the sport took part in them. Basically, that was I had a 4-year cycle in trying to qualify for that,
Hmm.
and we missed it. It was a tough one, but I don't know specifically on the specifics of why, but maybe I don't know if Drew has a little bit more information than I do, but yeah, it's a tough one for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the last Paralympics was in, I believe it was London, which was a huge success. I was there actually watching, and yeah, the football was brilliant. They were sold out to whatever it was, 22,000 people every single game, and yeah, it was an amazing show. And then and we haven't been the sport of seven-side football hasn't been in since. As most people would know, the Olympic and the Paralympic and their programs, they have different sports trying to get in every year and out. You're only allowed so many players or participations or participants. So rowing may come in, soccer may go out, ping pong may come in, and those may go out. And when we were removed, we were quite shocked, considering it's the biggest sport in the world. So not sure why. We have all kinds of stories, which I definitely don't want to get into because it obviously could get into trouble with that.
Hmm.
But yeah, they've they've gone through court. They've done a lot of things to try to get it back and find out why. And IPC's just hasn't moved on it. So we'll just keep trying and fighting for it. And it is the best sport in the world, and the soccer and the parasites the best sport in the world as far as we're concerned. And yeah, so when we're playing in South America or Europe and that, there's thousands of people come out to watch it and they want to see it. It's quality football, and it's great. So we do have our World Cups and World Championships, and in my world the World Cups is huge, but in the Paralympic world the Paralympics is huge, right? So hopefully we get back in soon, because I'm about 135 years old now, and coming to a closing to my coaching in this little world. But yeah, so it's not easy, there's no doubt about it, because everybody wants in and nobody wants out, right? So yeah, we're hoping for the United States that we might have a crack at it. So I don't think it's been confirmed yay or nay yet, but I'm not overly positive, but knock on wood. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Drew, thank you for that answer. And to be honest, that was why I asked, because it seems, I mean, I could understand some other sports maybe not being included in Paralympic Games, sports that aren't played, by the whole world, sports that are not the most popular in the world. But I guess, yeah, I understand. Perhaps there's other forces at play that maybe you can't get into. But now you mentioned, and again, perhaps this is also important for anyone watching, and anyone who who doesn't know or doesn't maybe follow necessarily, para soccer in general. It's 7-a-side, right? What are the other, let's say, rules that are different from soccer, football that we're used to watching?
Yeah, you talk about it. It's a funny game, because they play 7-a-side, but it's on a monstrous field. It's 86 yards, I believe, by 56 yards, I believe. It varies a little bit. Throw-ins, because some athletes will have CP in one hand, so you can actually bowl. You got to down by your knee. You can bowl the ball in instead of throwing with both hands. Our goals are 6 foot high and 18 foot wide versus the regular size, and there's no offsides. So I've been pushing for offsides ever since I've been in a bit, but they believe, and it's a good point, that the game is more exciting because it's wide open. So people are just flying up. I mean, you're talking 6 people on a huge field with a keeper. You're talking about have to be fit to play that game. Yeah, you can't. I mean, I always sort of make a joke when you watch you're watching the English Premier League and somebody gets knocked down and he's lying on the ground for 2.5 minutes. Well, if a para player lied on the ground for 2.5 minutes, it'd be like a power play in hockey. The other team would be playing. It's just how it is, right? And it's a massive field. So you can't hide when you're on a 7-a-side on a big field. There's no doubt about it. If you're not doing the business, you won't be out there too long. And so fitness is huge. It's very, very quick, fast, well played. And because there's 3 different disabilities class wise, we've got some people playing professional soccer. There's England's got a couple of guys who play in the Championship League. Russia, Ukraine's, Brazil's got professional players playing in professional soccer, but they qualify for the pair they're playing. So a lot of players across the world, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, we could comfortably play in MLS or definitely in the Canadian Premier League. Sammy could play in the Canadian Premier League, I believe. I don't think that's an issue. So yeah, the level's good on a big field, and it's not too much of pass back to the keeper. It's pretty much flying back and forth. It's pretty entertaining.
Great, yeah, and I may want to come back to ask both of you guys a little more about the fitness, just on a personal note, because I'd be interested even on how you're training. And I know, the title of our webinar today is preparing for the World Cup. So I'd like to come back to ask you about that. But you also mentioned 3 different, I guess, classes of disabilities that sort of make a player eligible to play. So maybe if you could elaborate on that, I think it would be good for everyone to know.
Yeah. Sammy, you can have a try at that one again,
please.
So right now, I know the rules change from every couple of years, but right now we have FT1, an FT2, and an FT3. And technical terms, don't ask me, I'm not sure, but I'll give it a crack. So FT1s, they're affected on both of their legs and their arms. So they are the most affected out of all 3 classes. So typically movements, what I've noticed from teammates on the FT1 perspective is their feet are more like kind of pigeon-toed, where they're a little bit more inside, and FT2s are more like me, so one side of the body's affected. And yeah, so if you watch the sport, typically most of us are left-footed, whereas if you look at able body, there's not a lot of left-footers, whereas in this sport, most of us at the FT2 level are left-footed. So I will not really use my right foot, if I'm being honest. But and then FT3s, technical term I'm not sure again, but I think it's more along too many concussions or brain injuries, where they got affected into certain things, and they're limited into what they can do on a day-to-day basis, just on their mental side of their performances. And yeah, that's kind of what I know about, like I know about it and how I tell people, and I'm sure Drew's got the more technical side of it.
Yeah, so he's right. I mean, it's so the FT1, he's correct. I'm not sure if that phrase is correct anymore, the pigeon-toe look, but it's their hips, it's their gait that's affected. So they walk with their toes, say, potentially pointing in a wee bit, but if the ball came to the right of them, they would not be able to open their gait where they could trap the ball with the inside of their foot. So they play everything with the outside of their feet, basically, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, he's dead right there. The number 2 FT2s is what he explained. FT3 is, again, you could have just mild CP without the acquired brain injury, so that could be an FT3. But most teams, including us, it's usually from somebody's had a car accident, or somebody's a bad accident in football, playing soccer, or any other thing like that, where he can still play at a high level, but his motor skills, maybe when he gets very, very tired, he may have little balance issues, and that it's to the naked eye, and it's kind of one of the things from I believe why we're not in Paralympics a little bit, is because the naked eye looks at FT3s flying down that field and striking the ball as good as anybody in the English Premier League, et cetera, and they're wondering why they're playing, right? And I think that could be an issue, in one of the small time of why we were in that game. When I was in London, I went to as many sports as I could to cheer on all the Canadian athletes, and you could be in a swimming pool, and the fans are there cheering on a person who might be an amputee with no arms, where he's been amputated with both arms or one leg, right? And the fans are loving it, and they're getting it's brilliant, and watching him go, and everybody's cheering for him. And then you come out and watch a soccer game, and it looks like you're watching the Championship League in England at times, right? So
like a regular match.
Yeah, so I think personally, I believe that's a bit of the issue, but we won't get back into that again. But
thank you for watching this short preview video from the National Soccer Coaches Association of Canada. To see the full video, plus have access to hundreds of other coaching videos, blogs, webinars, and podcasts, plus free and discounted coach education courses and other soccer merchandise, plus to have exclusive access to register for all future NSCAC conventions, both live and online, click on the link below to become a member of the NSCAC today. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as your continued support allows us to continue to provide coach education and coach development resources to soccer coaches across Canada and worldwide. Thank you again for your continued support, and we look forward to seeing you at future NSCAC events.